Kha'Zix for Rox Tigers. A lot of lane ganks in the top lane and abusing the R passive when you evolve the R. But again, we haven't seen any of that from Peanut. So to your question, probably dying early, Valdez. Very difficult to get much value out of the Kha'Zix at this point in the game. They turn onto him.
You were talking about no QSS, and
he's dead.
If your your jungler doesn't have a QSS, you're going to die to this team who has unlimited poke. Here we got a 1v1 down here. Tal was secured up in there, but the Baron has started. Ezreal ult hits everybody in the pit. He's going to begin poking. You can see effort is getting pretty low. In the front even, they're going to turn this one onto the rise. BDD flashing away, trying to do his rotation. Prey and BDD still having a lot of room here, but Gorilla's going to go down in the front. Now BDD's all alone, 1v3. He's going to be going down here after that. Zhonya's does go down. A double kill going over to Faker. Now Prey trying to go forward. Actually, he's gonna kill Pang, but is it gonna matter in the end? He knew he was gonna die. At least he trades 1 for 1, but in the end of this all, SKT wins the fight and they win the Baron.
Yeah, in this part of the game, the fact that they have less of a front line, they don't have a Sejuani, they have a Kha'Zix who was dead at the time, means they can't fight front to back anywhere near as the Cogmore draft late game team fight of SKT. They cannot win equal engagements. They need to pick up a pick. They don't. In the end, very nice turn onto Peanut. That was going to be my realistic response before we explained was he's going to die because there's nothing else you can realistically do. Second time that BDD is kind of botched his Realm Warp play with the Zhonyas, first with the stopwatch and the Zhonyas. This is the sort of pick they've wanted. Tal is overextended.
That he is 1v2. There's the barrel crit that you were talking about. He gets both of them quite low, but at the end of the day, it is a 1v2. At least he does get the top turret, but he is going to lose his Baron buff.
Play against 2 or 3 members and outplay them. We're going to see the replay. Peanut thinks he's safe. He doesn't have any deep vision to be clearing this sort of ward around the Baron. Faker flashes on him. You might say, oh, hard done by it was a flash, but you need advanced vision to clear out vision. He didn't have it. We're going to see the replay. They have to turn on. But remember that when it comes to tanking Baron, Blanket Effort will not die to the Baron anytime soon. When it comes to Cogmore, Bang ends up taking a couple of Baron shots to help out. He actually takes the first bit of Baron. Okay, here we go.
We got a fight in here. It looks like Malzahar, Faker gets taken out. Not sure what was going down here. Maybe just getting picked off. No doubt we'll get a replay. But a couple of members of SKT go down with Baron buff, and well, they're not using it to the best of their abilities right now, Papa.
Yeah, we can't talk about too much analysis because we missed the start of this. But what is to remember is that Tal just respawned. SKT were only 4-man strong in that particular situation. Some teleports are on cooldown. Clearly it was a flank that SKT disrespected. Amazing how teams are making mistakes at this point, but they've certainly wasted a Baron buff power play by now.
That they have. They're going to lose a turret in the mid lane. Trading 1 for 1 on the turrets, and by now we've got an Elder Drake. It is that time in the game, and already, you know, Faker and Effort are still dead. You're not going to 3v5 this King Zone lineup, but let's see what they can do. You can see they're hanging around. We got a TP coming in right now from Effort, or maybe Faker actually. It's going to get pretty low, trying to go for the steal, but no, it is going to go over to Peanut, and that Gangplank ultimate doing a lot of damage. At least they will take out Prey at the end of this fight. Finally getting some action in this game, Papa. Finally
getting a successful Realm Warp, also a big one there. If only Prey was in the AoE, they would have all gotten away for free. The Baron buff is still on Blank. They've only had it for 2 minutes. It's amusing that it still has a minute left given how much has happened. But we said SKT cannot lose a front-to-back 5v5 fight. First Tal got caught, then clearly multiple members of SKT, including Faker, got caught. That color point didn't matter because of the mistakes from SKT. And somehow the pendulum has swung, and we need a damn replay to work out how.
Yeah, let's get it. Give us the replay. Definitely gonna need to see that. It was interesting because right after Faker respawned, he switched his flash for TP. Unless that was like a visual bug. But that's one thing that you can do with the Unsealed Spellbook. If for just one fight you have to be there, absolutely. You can, you know, trade your flash for the TP.
With the Baron buff, they're still trying to push. This is 5v5. This is where King Zone has to consider their options, even with Elder Dragon, for another minute and a half. They give up. They don't give up the turret just yet. Look at the swings we've had here. It has been pretty small. You'll notice it's only a scale of 2 to 4,000. Not massive amounts. But the massive lead for SKT after they got Baron instantly corrected by all the kills that King Zone were able to pick up. And now we're basically even again.
Now we are only 1,000 ahead for SKT, pretty negligible at this point. And not even an inhibitor turret has gone down in this game. Both teams only taking 4 turrets out of the opposition, mirrored on both sides. And I feel like we're just gonna sink back in, you know, sit back into our chair of let's clear waves, try not to get caught, and wait until the next objective comes up.
I'd like to see them clear vision. SKT has had the vision lead the entire game, and you cannot afford that when they have Malzahar and also the Sejuani who can initiate out of basically nowhere, especially when you have no vision. So see if KingZone can either group as 5 and kind of narrow down the places where they need to clear the vision, or go for some defensive vision plays for now. SKT not incentivized to push up for another 10 seconds as the Elder Dragon is still worn by SKT. And asking you shall receive, Valdez. We're not in the super late game yet, but seems like we're going to get there.
We're getting there. No mistakes have been made, really. Well, that one...
There was one, but we didn't get to see it.
Yeah, there were a couple, I'd say. But nothing that really threw the game in one direction. We're going to take a look at a blank. He did get the first blood in the mid lane. He is sitting at 1-0-7, 100% kill participation. Probably more important to mention that more than anything else. Amusing
thing, of course, is that a lot of the vision you see on the screen from SKT is zombie wards as well. One of the things that will be addressed a little bit in patch 8.2 is the extra vision you get.
But yeah, well, still, it's still going to be 180 seconds, I believe, at level 18.
Oh, in the early game at level 18, yep.
What?
That's the meta we live in, Valdez. You haven't seen it up close, exactly. But that's where we're at.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is that buff really going to change zombie ward being taken by these junglers? Because
I need to be glass half full over here. I cast all the games, Valdez.
I'll let you, okay? When you come to SPO TV, reality sets in. And I'm just like, yeah, zombie ward's going to be the same. But I don't know. There's some good changes in there.
All right. We take a deep breath again. We reassess. Vision for KZ. At least there is a bit of coverage for KingZone on the bot side here for Khan to push up. Not sure how the 1v1 goes. My inkling is that Tal has more effective items, therefore he probably does pretty well in the 1v1. QSS kind of ruining the build here for Khan. Would prefer not to have that. He has it basically, so if Malzahar teleports in, he can try to turn a 1v2. He doesn't really have it for team fights. In some team fights, sure, it'll be decent, but usually Guardian Angel and a different defensive item is probably going to be preferred in a team fight. And it doesn't help him in the 1v1 versus Gangplank, so he's not as strong as he'd want to be, as Tal's like, screw it. I'm also going to be a Fountain Laser. No boots on the Gangplank.
I mean, it's ridiculous that this is now the norm, right? 6 item carries with no boots, always getting the Phantom Dancer. Kog'Maw's not there yet. See if he does go that far.
Bang loves role-playing tanks. He loves the Ninja Tabi, and he's got the Frozen Mallet as well.
Role-playing tanks.
The Urgot's not in the meta anymore,
Deft, you know? You're talking about role-playing tanks, trying to be out in the front lines, getting caught.
Positioning-wise, but items-wise, that was always Bang Sing. He was one of our first Ninja Tabi 80 carries in Korea.
So SKT's just playing the game of, we're going to deny 2 brushes, and hopefully you walk in. And KZ's like, nope, we're not going to do that. So no Baron for now. Elder's still on the way. Not spawned just yet.
I got to say, the mentality in the late game has never been more important in League of Legends. Right now, your ability to keep it together in positions like this where a big enough mistake, your whole team loses.
Yeah.
You know, we've had players who clearly have visibly got frustrated in losses, and it's affected their play in later games. You know, Africa as a team seemed to be a team like that last year. You can't afford to be anymore.
Yeah, and I feel like that's part of the reason why a lot more emotions are being shown even after games, like super long games where you get literally 1 auto attack from 2-0ing KSV as Africa.
And then you lose.
And it goes like 74 minutes as well in that game. Like the toll it takes, all that tension you were talking about is just, it's hard to imagine, right? I feel like you'd have to have experienced it yourself, you know, be on the big stage and play 3 over 40-minute games and then, you know, tell me that you wouldn't be crying in the booth.
I mean, you look
I feel like I'd be.
I mean, that 71-minute game for Afrika, they were winning for 67 minutes, 65 minutes, you know, and then to lose out of nowhere and very visibly not be all there in the last game was very painful to watch as Malzahar has denied the ultimate.
Yeah, he went for it. They went for the Baron. They saw Peanut as it seemed like KingZone knew it was started, and the flash just does not work. So Faker is going to be flashless. It's okay, though. We're not going to have a fight until his flash is up again.
This part is 100% true, Valdez. The forcing becomes so difficult.
I've been doing my research. I've been watching you guys cast. It's
1x speed, 2x speed?
Mostly 1.5 so that I can hear what you're saying. 2x speed is like, well, you're only getting the gist of what's going on. But mostly live, actually.
Well, I appreciate your viewership and everyone out there watching on LCK1 and also on YouTube for these games that just never end. You know, this is the song that never ends. Is a song I remember from my childhood.
On,
my friends.
It's
some people tell me patch 8.2 will make it better.
They'll continue saying that until 8.2 comes out.
And it's the meta. Look at us, rhyming on air.
Yeah. This is the patch that doesn't end. I hope it comes in next week. But you were telling me earlier that because it came out on Wednesday,
this is my expectation,
that it might not happen until the week after. So
we get another week of rhyming, of joking. You can practice your stand-up routine that I keep alluding to.
Oh, yeah, great. Yeah. I'm working on that, you know. Just go home and watch your guys' cast. Not even pay attention. I'm just like working on what jokes I can weave into the cast.
Man walks into 8.1, there is no counter. Like all other great jokes you can make.
Yeah.
Tal and Khan have been doing nothing in the side lane for a long while. It might as well be Maokai versus Sion. They do a lot of damage, but you wouldn't know it from their health bars.
They just get it all back. Oh, we just saw the Guardian Angel sold by GP.
Yeah!
I think he got Titanic Hydra?
Yep. He wants more deeps. He's ready to pump out some damage.
He's like, who am I kidding? I'm not going to die.
Guardian Angel doesn't help you if people don't die.
People don't die in this meta? What am I doing?
We're getting positioning on mid lane. We're talking about Ryze being in a side lane. Ryze's ability to side lane is one of the reasons why he's popular, Valdez. And it's forced. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
What does it mean?
Nothing. Well, it does mean something, actually. Effort will have a harder time. You can see that the Baron is going down here. It looks like SKT, they had an inkling. And all that KZ needs to stop the Baron is just an inkling on the side of SKT. And they will say, okay, I'm not going to do it.
Oh, nice burst.
Yeah, that's the burst, but...
that was a barrel crit.
Yeah. Now we just need a barrel crit onto the Camille.
So we say what happened. Effort had to ult. They lose positioning on the Baron. Now it's KingZone. They can keep trying it and look for a mistake from SKT. So it was actually consequential getting the ult out of Effort. It will be up very soon. They can be a bit more offensive. But for now, every little bit of damage you see is because of Effort's small mistake.
Very, very true. This is why we were talking about, right? It's so tense. A tiny little mistake. One person gets caught out, 94 minutes. The game ends. You know, you try to kill the Nexus, and you're already past 55 minutes. The death timers are 70 seconds long. You lose the game. One mistake, one team fight, it's over.
That sort of punishment has led to this extended meta, but SKT, after seeing the recalls, they're going straight for Baron. It's tanky. Instead of around 10,000 health, the teleports are being drawn. Ezreal's not there.
They're going to have to back off. Oh, the TP was canceled. And the Baron is still low. They're going to try to get in here. The GP ultimate is going to land onto this Braum. He's going to try to knock up Bang, but it's not going to work out. Gorilla, though, is going to stand beside Prey and get back to his team. And it turns out that no one is going to go down here. Peanut, though, he's looking for a pick. We were talking about what is the usefulness of the Kha'Zix.
No. He's not picking. He's trying to delay.
Oh, true.
He just wants to use his W to get vision and delay. They won't be able to stop 2 recalls. They stopped 1. Bang cannot recall. Faker does. No, Faker cancels it. We're watching in the minimap here. So much action around the top side. No one's died.
Oh,
Gangplank does leave. Teleports are being used everywhere.
This game is unbelievably tense. Unbelievably. You're exactly right. He's trying to stop the backs because they want to go push mid. But then they're like, oh, maybe we can take a fight. Maybe we can go over there and fight them. It looks like someone backed. But then a TP comes out from Tal, and then they go for it, and they just back off of the fight. Now they're going for the Elder Drake here.
They have complete positioning on it, down to 5,000. They're going to try and rush it. They should get it.
Yep, that they should, unless Blank can get the Miracle Steal. He's too far away. Now they have the Elder. They want to force a fight here with the Elder Drake. Khan, though, is going to miss that hook shot, and SKT wants no part of it, but look at Blank's health. He's getting poked down from the Ezreal. Here comes Peanut trying to pick him off, but it's not going to happen. But they got a lot of health away. Maybe they can go for Baron.
Now, Blank has Warmogs, but because of the burn, it took a little bit longer to arm. He'll be full health in about 12 seconds. They start onto the Baron. They have a quick Baron here. Blank's near enough to full health. SKT's contest might be too late. It's down to 3,000.
Looks like it might be late. The ultimate's going to come in, and it's blocked. The Braum ultimate stops Blank from getting in, and now he's going to go down. That's going to be the Baron and the Elder. Here comes the Realm Warp. They want to get into that back line. Here comes the Kazakhstan to bang, and he is going to go down. They finally get that cockball in the back line. Faker now trying to go 1v2. He's not going to be able to do a double kill, and finally Peanut is getting the kills that he's wanted all game long. A triple kill going to the Kazakhs, and Baron and Elder Drake on the side of Kingzone.
This game explodes into life. The death timers are so long. Kingzone will feel like they can win the game here unless Tal can delay them insanely. The minion wave is starting to come up. The second one is not far behind it. Can Tal stall? I think SKT have lost.
It's all about the barrels. He's going to have to get perfect ones, but it's 1 versus 4. They can cancel them. And even if he does kill the minions, is it going to matter? It doesn't look like it. There's only Tal alone here. That's going to be the first Nexus turret. They're going to go for the second one here. In come the Baron buff minions, and they're even going to get Tal out of this fight. They want the extra kill. Camille's going to pick it up. Khan gets another kill, and KZ gets the kill in game 1.
The power of the veterans, the power of the shock calls, turning onto the Elder after the Baron had been just stalled out for 20+ minutes. They take the Elder, they're proactive around the Baron after chunking out Blank. They trusted their smites. Kingzone flipped the script. They should have been able to run this from the early game. They didn't, but because of the ability in patch 8.1 to open up, to delay a game, they got to the point where 1 decisive call was enough. They turned that into 2. See any graphics, you will see that SKT has retained Tal and Effort into the lineup. Also Blank, I guess we should say. So no visit of Wolf into the starting lineup here is going to be something to note. The bans do start, and SKT don't want to deal with the Jace any longer.
Yeah, they never want to deal with that. And similar bans on the side of KZ, at least with the Vladimir. This time we are not going to be seeing the Sejuani. Still no AD carries have been banned out here, and even a Kazakhs ban by SKT.
Could be a last ban Kalista, just to really empower Engage from the bot side, but no guarantees on that one. A Ryze first pick is looking very possible as well. Maybe you just ban away the Ryze and accept that Azir, Malzahar, these will have to be the mid laners that will be considered. Very difficult to choose from here, but SKT, the Ryze especially, such a big one for Faker, but they're not afraid of it. They're just going to ban away the Gangplank. Actually give us a new lease on life. When was the last time we saw Gnar and Gangplank both off the board? Vladimir also as a top laner. Top lane meta is going to be a bit different. You do see the flash onto the Nasus was banned in game 1. But the priority in Galio, week 1, almost none. Week 2, it is jumping up, and it's a first pick. That's pretty intense.
It's a whole new week, Papa Smithy. I know you're going to be here for every single one, so you can bring us through all the changes. Galio definitely going to be one of the new things here. They want to take it away from BDD. Faker always used to play it as well. It's just very high priority, as you were saying. Also, the Ezreal being hovered here by Kingzone.
Now you can lane basically anything into Galio. The only thing I've ever seen with kill pressure was the Malzahar, just the ability to just get an early Void Star for the Andres and actually do some damage. Not going to kill the Galio, but at least have threat onto the Galio. So that was one of the favorites in the past, but for now, Kingzone will hold on to their mid lane pick. You can also just go scaling against a Galio. Think of something like the Veigar that we've seen already this season. You could just go for the Azir and try to kite him out in the early game and do big damage in the late game. So a lot of options available against a Galio, not really forced to go in different directions. Corki is another favorite when it comes to scaling against a Galio, as SKT say, well, we'd like more Engage, maybe we'll have all of it.
Ooh. Maybe they're going to take a little page out of, who was that team that did the crazy Engage comp that one game? Was that Rox? Or?
That was Rox last year. We see the Zac measured over. Remember, it is Blank who has the Zac skin himself for SK Telecom T1. The Camille was flashed. I feel like Kingzone have been the most heads up about the mind game, showing picks that they're not going to select and then moving over to other priorities. But Tal will have the ability to just rush onto that Camille pick, and the Kalista I mentioned is taken, so we're getting some ultra comfort here for SKT.
Also very high tier picks in terms of the 80 carries. Kalista versus the Ezreal, and another high tier pick right there, Azir, making its way through the draft this time around. It's the game saver, right? The one pick that can save you even when it's like 1v3 on the Nexus.
Nobody beats Azir at 70 minutes. It's been one of the sub-stories of the LCK in 2018 so far. I want to pay a bit of lip service to the fact that Blank is our most noted jungle Camille player of the pro players here. He's played a lot of games on jungle Camille, around 40 to 50 in the past 2 weeks. So it is a flex pick for the side of SKT. Kingzone would do well to hold on to their top lane pick to the last. We have not seen jungle Camille in the LCK yet, but we know that it can be played. MLXG did play it for RNG over in the LPL, and it has been a popular pick. On the blue side, we do see a Jax ban. So Jax jungle has been winning a lot of games, mostly through the late game. We haven't seen the early ganking from the Jax jungle. And we do see the Jarvan ban as Kingzone want to take away some of the first round junglers. Jarvan, Camille, and Galio would certainly be quite the initiation trio.
Yeah, it's just part of that wombo combo, get into the back line and get Galio into the back line as well. They want to take one piece away, the Jarvan a big piece, the Zac as well. And 2 jungle bans there in a row for SKT.
Now Kingzone seeing a team that is likely to be 5 initiators, given that whichever support they end up with can be thrown in with the Fate's Call. Let's see how they approach the draft here, because like you say, Wombo combo is almost assured by the first 3 picks, and Camille and Galio guarantee initiation. And they say, hey, if you want to fight in an AoE, why not run the Shyvana and have all the damage potentially there? But they disrupt, and it's not Nidalee from Peanut. It's actually Cuz in the lineup, but he's another jungle Nidalee player. Kingzone had 2 options, Shyvana, and then basically opting into what should be guaranteed team fights from SKT, or the Nidalee and opting into trying to poke around, trying to skirmish, and more difficult to comp to pick up, especially in the ultra late game. But it is going to be Kingzone trying to actually make the Nidalee work. I believe this is the competitive debut of Cuz's Nidalee, despite it being his biggest solo queue pick the entire summer season.
Yeah, Nidalee, very hit or miss for me, I feel. You know, it seems to work with some poke comps. It works with the Ezreal. Gives you some nice sustain, even if you're getting poked down yourself. But overall, still waiting to see how effective it is, especially in those very late game scenarios. Tom Kent's still left available, is going to be picked up by SKT.
Definitely not selecting the Nidalee for the late game, though. They're going to try to be proactive, deny us another epic game like we had in the previous one. Is what do you take into Camille has often been a question. One of the famous skill matchups is the double zones, the Hextech Ultimatum, but also the Grand Challenge healing field to guarantee a fight there. Fiora is going to be locked in. Khan was smiling about it. There was the overlay, there was the famous interview where he said, it's not about the Jace, it's about your fingers, play better. Fiora is in that kind of school of thought as well. She is another one of these skill matchups. She also has threat onto the Galio, even as the game goes on, with true damage. So Khan, it's always about Khan. It feels like with the side of Kingzone, he makes it all about him again.
I just love the fact that they're not saying, okay, let's go super late game. Let's mix it up a little bit, right? The Nidalee being thrown in. Tal, is running away. He's like, oh, I don't like this composition. I'm going to run away. Looks like he's probably going to the bathroom based on where I saw him run. But he's going to the faraway one. Yep.
Not a toilet issue, hopefully.
Yeah, we got the confirmation that it is a toilet issue. So he will be back in just a minute, guys.
These are cool comps here. The Nidalee is in one non sequitur from the side of Kingzone. It basically says, hey, you know those 70-minute fights, we're probably not going to be able to do much. Nidalee in the ultra late game is kind of a heal bot. Doesn't really provide too much more than that. The damage is going to be absorbed by Galio. It won't even go half the way through his W shield. So very much about the early game, getting the Fiora rolling. If Fiora's firing at all cylinders, if Azir's hitting his item timings, maybe it doesn't matter, because in those scenarios where we saw disengage, where we saw teams pull back, those are going to be scenarios where they're going to have someone walk up, tank the Baron, and they say, hey, if you want to take a fight to us, we still have a fed Azir and Fiora, and the Fiora split push will also be relevant for the side of Kingzone. No true tank, though. It is only the Brawl.
I feel like once we hit 8.2, we're going to see a similar composition, but add in a Nunu instead of a Nidalee, right? With the buffs to Nunu, and if you combine that with Azir, it's just out of control.
I'm shaking my head already. Very preemptive head shake, but Nunu Azir is a combo I hope won't be fielded in the LCK. It holds unbelievable power.
If you're allowed to get that composition, might as well just like, okay, you guys won this game, let's go into the next one. Next pick ban.
Good news, Tala's back.
Yeah, not too bad of a toilet issue, it seems. He's right back in his chair. The chair wanted to have a chance at playing League of Legends, but Tal says no.
This is not a chair stream. This is a League of Legends stream, Valdez.
Yeah. Khan looks so ready to go. Look at him with a smile on his face. If he wins this with like some sick Fiora play, no doubt he'll get the MVP as well with a pick like this. Either way, guys, the countdown has begun. Let's jump into game number 2, Kingzone versus SKT. Here we do go. Match 15, game number 2. Blank taking a little bit of poke damage. The power of Nidalee at level 1.
And the invade was on. When you pick the Nidalee, whether it's Peanut or Cuz on the side of Kingzone, you expect there to be a lot of deep wards. If you know the enemy jungle pathing as a jungle like Rengar, whose ability to skirmish kind of purely depends on if he gets the drop. If he gets the drop, if he invades you, which is very unlikely, you kind of need a power leash to do that, absolutely he can one rotate you and you have no way to escape to. If his only option is to jump from the brush onto someone who's already chunked him down, not going to be as useful in that scenario, and that's why Cuz just wants to know where he's starting. He doesn't need to take away his first camp. It's the second, the third, the fourth. Those are the ones that will be contested.
Cuz knows what he's doing on this pick. He's even got Khan with him here at the blue buff. Thinking about it, and they're going to start. Here comes the first spear, but you can see it's going to be a 2-on-2. Galio's going to get there first, but decides to back off. Looks like SKT should gain control of this, although Cuz is not leaving just yet.
But let's talk about what was denied from this. Because they monopolized the blue side, you saw Tal and you saw Blank enter the jungle, and you say, okay, but no buff was taken, you know, no harm, no foul. What usually happens when we have a mid lane Galio on blue side is a super leash on the bot side on the Raptors. We saw it yesterday from our first blue side Galio. There's no super leash available to Blank. His jungling time is going to be slower, and they're returning for an invade anyway.
So the smite was used. Blank cannot smite, but he's going straight onto Cuz. That's just what he wants. He's level 2. Cuz is getting low. The bolas
are going to miss.
He's got nowhere to miss. He's running right straight into Tal. That should be first blood. Blank gonna pick that up. Very smart jungling. Getting onto the Nidalee, knowing she would still be there, and getting that level 2 to fight up against her.
But a big mistake coming through from Cuz. Why would you go for the contest? You already denied there being a super leash, and there's no way to run. He was trying to juke left and right. Well, guess what? There's brush in both of them. Yeah. No way to get away from Blank. Really unfortunate stuff there from the side of the Kingzone jungler. He's put himself in a hole, and he's in a skirmish comp, in a snowball comp. His lanes need him to be battle warding the Rengar to stop Rengar being a factor, and now he's trying to get level 2 3 minutes into the game.
Yeah, we can already see the result, right? Khan, he's not as comfortable to get super aggressive. He needs to put down a ward. He needs to get some vision on the Rengar. Cuz is going to pick up this blue. We'll see if he continues to invade.
I think he has to.
Oh boy, look at this. Oh man, Faker already being pushed out of lane. Does have the Unsealed Spellbook and the TP already. But yeah, the power of Azir against the Galio.
So again, consider that the super leash was denied here. That's why the level 1 plan, whoever put it together, was a masterstroke. Denying the super leash, denying Blank, getting free time. But by the time he flashes, he's like, wait, there is nowhere for me to go. There's no ability for Fiora at level 1 to influence this skirmish. it just ends up being an assist. So if anything, he gives gold over to the enemy laner there. So kind of a multitude of reasons why Cuz had kind of won the jungle race a little bit from his counter jungling previous to the level 1 fight, but going for the blue, that was too much.
KêNH already showing off a little bit up in the top lane.
Kleptomancy is his rune also, so every time we see any of his abilities in an auto, you know that he's going to be proccing that very happily. Q also, instant procs it, so just trying to get a bit of gold generation going. KêNH's Fiora, always a delight. Right at the start of summer season, when we're still learning about KêNH, in a loss to SKT, he had that very famous game where he turned around a 1v3 in the enemy jungle. They went on to lose it, but everyone was talking about KêNH's Fiora, and he was known as a Fiora one-trick before he came back into the competitive scene in his recent days in solo queue. So very famous on this champion, but his win rate doesn't necessarily line up with the hype. His individual performance is great. Kingston's ability to turn around and to translate his pressure into game victories, that part hasn't been as convincing.
Getting aggressive out to Faker, he's gonna blow his flash already. Remember that TP is still down. BDD once again wrecking Faker in the lane. It makes more sense in this matchup though.
Summoner Airy taken for lane bullying, not going for anything else. Faker on the champion that he looked godly on at Worlds. Faker's Galio in some of those matches, 5 in a row against RNG in the semifinals. People said this was the reason they were winning, because of his ability to take over, losing top, losing bot, and roam everywhere. It's different runes now. The game has definitely changed, but no fun dealing with the